Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Northfield with Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
I don't know why it makes me laugh every time.
It makes me laugh too. That's why I keep doing it.
So it is like absolutely becoming spooky season, fall, like the weather gives me all the fall vibes. And honestly, I'm tired of it already. I don't like to be cold. So I'm not happy. I wanted to go back to like spring/summer.
I actually wore a coat out of the house this morning.
I did. And that never, I don't wear coats, period. But
me neither.
I did.
Typically.
I did put one on this morning because it's windy.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, we have quite a few guests on today with us. So you're going to be hearing from 3 different business owners, and we're really excited for it. And we're kind of going to be all over the place. Like nothing, there's no theme to today. It's just kind of, we're all over. And you guys know we usually kind of kick it off, starting with some upcoming events and things that are going on in our area. And that's going to lead us into our first guest as well. But I will mention, if you are a small business, large business, medium-sized business entrepreneur, and are in the area looking for places to network, we have got 3 things upcoming in October that we'd love for you to come out, depending upon maybe where you are in the region or where you're wanting to do business in the region. This Friday, if you're in the Roanoke, Bedford, Smith Mountain Lake area, and you want to come out to R&D Coffee at 8 a.m. on Friday morning, we will be there for our Roanoke Coffee Talk. So we'd love to invite you to come out and join us and other business owners to network. And then we have next week our coffee talks in both Appomattox and in the Lynchburg area. So Thursday we are in Appomattox at Appomattox Inn & Suites from 8:30 to 10. And then again on Friday we are downtown Lynchburg from 8 to 10 at Flute's Wine Shop. We will not be drinking wine that early in the morning, I am sorry to say.
Man.
I know. It's sad. But we will have some coffee. So come out and network. We're kind of saying if on Friday specifically, if you want to dress up, you want to have a little Halloween fun, you can come and join us. I may or may not. I have not quite decided yet what I'm doing. But there is also, I'll mention, not technically a CVABC event. However, we are helping to kind of plan it this Friday evening. If you want to come out from 4 to 6 at the Business Development Center off of Mill Ridge Road, we have a Monsters and Munchies sort of networking event going on for business owners too. So there's a lot of things. And the to top it off, those 4 events, there's no charge to get into any of them, to come out and network and meet with other people. So it's a great way to come out and do that.
It's a great thing.
And, we're always talking about ways for small businesses to get their names out. And I've said this before, and I know we've had a couple of episodes in the past couple of months talking about, marketing and things like that. And I keep reiterating to people how important it is to get out and build relationships in the community. It's not as simple as just, throwing up a billboard all the time.
Right.
Or, just throwing up a social media post or this or that. I'm really big on relationship building. The face-to-face personal contact you have with somebody can set you apart from just seeing somebody's picture in a magazine or their ad in a magazine or things like that. It's the personability of, who you're dealing with. And
100%.
So coming out to networking events, whether it's coffee talks, whether it's ribbon cuttings, whether it's not even with the CVABC. I mean, we would love for you to come to our events, but if there's something else out there that you see that's going to get your business out there and recognized, that's my tip of the day. Do it. Get out there.
That's great advice for Woody to come to like a coffee talk and network. And
I'm done with Woody.
So
I've decided. Actually, I think it was yesterday we were at our delegate meeting. We were talking about the live streaming of the Christmas parade this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot. So we're trying to have a CVABC float because we have not ever had one.
Yeah.
And I have somebody that is donating a float to us. And my conundrum, if you will, word of the day, is I normally live stream both parades. I stand there and my arm gets really tired because I'm holding up my phone, live streaming for people who cannot be there, because we get a lot of requests for people that say, hey, we can't come out in the cold, or we're elderly and we can't make it, and how can we watch? So I sit there and I live stream. And so somebody was like, well, would he do that?
Ooh.
And I thought to myself,
why cannot
why would he not do that?
I know that. Yeah.
So we're going to have to chat with, well, I mean,
Absolutely.
if you want to go incognito, we won't let anyone know it's you. You know,
I totally, when
we
you
don't want
dressed in
people to
like
talk to you.
an overcoat and in like a hat and
Kind of sneaky.
like yeah,
Trench coat. Yeah.
like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I
Well,
can do that.
No, you did do the Bedford one for us a couple years
I
ago.
did. Yes.
And that worked really well.
It worked great.
So, we've had people ask us why we don't get like the TV stations or anything to come out. And I think it's just, there's so many parades going on. I think it kind of spreads them a little thin. Plus a lot of them are actually in the parades. They're walking and doing things too. So it comes, it gets a little difficult, but so we'll look into that.
We'll chat.
We'll look into that for the parade. So, but speaking of upcoming events, if you are looking for something to do in our area in the next couple of weeks, there is really there's something going on.
There's something every weekend.
There's no way you could sit at home and say there's nothing to do, because you would be wrong. And I would call you out on it if you posted it or said anything. I'd be like, you're wrong. Because there's a lot of things going on. But one in particular we're going to be talking about today. And we have one of our members on, Blake Bryant. He is here to talk about his puzzled event. And this event, I will say, well, any event. I mean, if you've ever run events, they take a lot of planning. It's not like you just think, oh, I'm going to do this and it happens next week.
Right.
There's a lot of planning that goes into this. And Blake is one of the hardest working, like, for an event. I mean, I run events, but Blake runs circles around me, I feel.
Not only does
how he does
run events, but he also goes and supports other people at their events. Because I was talking to him one day a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, I got 8 more events after this. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, I have 8 more events. It was at the Out of the Darkness Walk. I think you had like 9 things you were going to that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm tired just thinking about that. So
Yeah, some days it's a lot, but we all should go out there and support each other.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting against each other, let's all help each other, to be better.
Yeah.
And Heather talks about that a lot. You talk about that a lot, Mike. We just need to go out and do it. At the end of the day, you're wore out, but at least you're showing support to everybody. Like Out the Darkness Walk, we couldn't support them fully because we were at all these other events.
Right.
But we let them borrow our tables and chairs at no cost to them, because it helped them, save some money and help somebody. So that's why we try to do those things.
Sheena and I volunteered at the Out of the Darkness Walk, and we started unloading everything. I'm like, why does everything say puzzled? And they're like, he lent us everything we use pretty much came from puzzled. So like all the tables and chairs, it was fantastic. So it made the event a lot easier. So really thankful for Puzzled and Blake lending all that.
Well, we're thankful to have all y'all, because y'all help so many businesses be better. Y'all help me be better. So like Heather said, go out to events. It doesn't have to be something that she does. There's lots of events and lots of things going on. Like this weekend, there's probably 15 big events going on. Go out, be part of one of them. You don't have to come to Puzzled. You can go to any of the events and support local business, because that's the only way we're going to all grow together.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm excited to say I am not doing any events this weekend. Like, I'm going to go, but I'm personally not doing any events this weekend. I'm so excited.
As of yesterday, I'm now volunteering with Puzzled tomorrow to help with their event. So they need some extra help. So
You're not?
I am.
Oh, I thought you said you're not.
No, I'm volunteering.
I was like, that's rude, because I just saw where you said
Saturday.
you were.
Yeah. No, Saturday.
Awesome.
And that's the biggest thing. We need volunteers. We need people to help us, because we're 100% nonprofit. There's lots of nonprofits, and that's a broad term. We're a real nonprofit. Nobody makes any money. Every penny we raise to the penny goes out to children with autism in different ways. But none of my guys make any money. Everybody's volunteer. So some days that's difficult, because, everybody wants to make money, but we do it just out the love of our heart, and that's what it should be about.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Puzzled. Let's talk about the event itself. When is it? Where is it? And what is it?
So it's this Saturday at Pittman Plasma, 10 to 4. It's Lynchburg's biggest car show. Last year, we had over 509 cars, but car show is just part of it. We have a carnival with bounce houses. We have 30-some games for the kids, a costume contest. And those things, anything to do with the children, is absolutely free. And where we're different from most events, we don't charge the public anything to get in. So you can walk around for free. Your kids can bounce for free. Your kids can play the games for free. Everything is free. The car show guys, they pay to be in the car show and it's a donation, but all the kids stuff is 100% free.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And let's talk a little about, so the car show. Now I've been to Puzzled now. I've been coming for years, and it grows every year. You always have something new or something different. Excuse me. The car show though, they always bring out candy. It's a good opportunity to have, I think right now people are always looking for trunk or treats. Where can I go to take my kids to get, candy and things like that? And one of my daughter's favorite things to do is to walk around and look at the different cars and, get candy. And so how many cars do you think you have coming this year? What's the roundabout?
It'll be over 500. No, I can't tell you exact number, but we've grown every year. And like I said, last year we had 509. I'd love to see 600, because at the end of the day, that helps us raise more money for the children. And something that's kind of unique about us, we seek out people that will let the children get in the cars, feel and touch them. We want the kids to be involved and get them involved in cars and hot rod. And instead of texting and playing on the computer, get out there and let your kids have some fun. And that's what Puzzled is about, kids having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I know every time I'm there, you see kids running all over the place and just having a blast. The Kids Zone area, the carnival games that y'all have are really cool. Like I've never seen anything like it at any other event I go to. Well,
and where we're different from most events, most people pay somebody to do those things. Most of the games we have built ourselves. Me and my wife, we built them, out of stuff we've seen at other places or something that's neat or different. And something new we added, and it's absolutely free. We bought 100 pumpkins, and the first 100 kids are going to be able to paint pumpkins for free. And we're not charging anything because it's about the kids, and I don't want any child left out or no child left behind. So that's why we make stuff free. Yeah, we could make money off of doing that stuff, but that's not what we're about. We just want kids to have fun.
Are you doing any of the last year, and I know year before last, y'all done like some different contests, like you've had donut eating contests and you've done, I can't remember what some of the other ones are.
So we are going to have the donut eating contest. We're going to have the lemonade chug. We'll have a milk chug. New for this year, McDonald's right at the top of the hill at the plaza has donated 100 cheeseburgers. So we're going to have a cheeseburger eating contest. Again, all that stuff is absolutely free because I love watching people have fun and having a good time. It's not always about money. It's about, being a community partner and doing the right thing. And that's what we're really about, doing the right thing.
I'm going to need to know the time for that cheeseburger contest because I'm bringing my son-in-law. I've never seen somebody put some cheeseburgers down.
I was like, what are you going to do? Eat like half a cheeseburger?
Yeah, no. You should see Corey. He will put some. Yes,
you gotta watch out for the quiet guys.
Yeah. That's fun, and that's a lot of fun to watch. When they're sitting there with the stage. By the way, do you have a stage?
We do. So Xfinity this year has came on as a partner, and they're bringing this humongous tractor trailer stage. It's never been to Virginia before.
Okay, that's cool.
So that thing is really cool. It has TVs in the background, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So.
All right. And it's funny because it hit me. I was like, oh, do I need to get with Terman? Because Terman usually brings out their stage for you guys for free. So I was like, oh, I need to chat with them. So I think that the event itself grows so much every year. And I know you put a lot of hard work into it. And how are some ways people can support you? Whether it's I know this year it's kind of close. It's in a couple of days. But moving forward, what are ways people can support Puzzled?
We always need volunteers, because golly, we probably do 80 and 90 events a year. Sometimes I go and I'm involved in the events with games. Sometimes we're just promoting us. You can always donate at puzzledevents.com. We have shirts and hats and stickers and all kinds of merchandise. And we have other events throughout the year that we don't talk a lot about because it's just about the children. It's not about publicity or making money. It's just about having a good time. And we always need help at those events. So that's just multiple ways you can help. But the biggest thing if you have a child or a grandchild or somebody in your family that's on the autism spectrum and you need help finding resources, that's what I really am, as a connector to get people to the resources. So that's probably the biggest thing that I would want people to know. If you have a problem, I might be able to help you, and I might be able to find you a resource that you've not been able to find before. And that's no charge for that. I do that just because that's what I want to do. You know, it's what's in my heart.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that really is. Now, you also usually have a silent auction going on. So do y'all still have that this year?
Yeah, we have the auction. We have a raffle. We have 50-50, and we have a live auction, which that's my favorite thing to do because my family is in the auction business. So I love doing the auction. It carries on the legacy of my dad. So I love doing that. You know, my dad passed in 2019, and I think about him every day. So that auction is just going to kind of carry on my dad's legacy.
That's cool.
Really cool. And I've, you know, again, I've seen y'all got some really cool items every year for that. And that table is always crowded. It's hard for me to get over there because half the time there's like swarmed with people. So I also want to talk a little bit about the awards that you guys have. So you do
we've seen where you've been building a lot of awards.
Yeah. And that's what building is. That's what I wanted to kind of highlight is like you build all these awards for like the costume contests and things like that.
Yeah. So all of my guys, we come together and build the awards. Most people go online at car events and other events and just buy them, you know, and I could do that and it would be a whole lot cheaper because I spend hundreds upon hundreds of hours building these. But I want people to know when they get something, I built it. You know, my guys built it. You know, we didn't waste money on buying awards. We built them, and they're always going to be one of a kind. Mm-hmm. You know, they might not be perfect because I'm not the best painter. I hand paint a lot of them, you know, but it's coming from love. You know, it's coming from our heart, and all of my guys, it's coming from their heart. And, you know, we'll have like 165, 170 awards because I'm still making them. I'll be making them Friday because I just want to give many as I can to people because we appreciate everybody that supports us and helps us.
My daughter probably has, I don't even know how many trophies, you know, sitting at our house from like gymnastics or cheer or softball or whatever. And the trophy she won last year from the costume contest is one of her favorites because it's so unique. It's not like the same cookie cutter trophy that's sitting there every single time. And she was so excited when she got that. She came and she dressed as a mechanic because we got there and she said, I'm going to be a mechanic for all these cars at the car shows. And that's exactly what they said when they asked her. They were like, what are you? She's like, oh, I'm the mechanic who worked on all these cars. And it was hilarious. And she like rubbed dirt all over her face, but she, you know, was not expecting to get anything. And so when she did, and it's a really cool trophy. I wish I had a picture of it, which y'all couldn't see because I could post it, I guess, on our Facebook page. Right. But it's really cool with the way he built it and had like, you know, the little Matchbox car on top, and she just loves it. And so they are definitely unique. And I've seen some of the ones you've been building this year, and I'm trying to figure out, do you have one for an adult? Like, I'm just going to come out there and win one.
So for the costume contest, it can be from the smallest baby to a 6-month-old all the way up to an adult. And it's hard judging the contest. Last year we had like 10 infants, and I looked down there and it took 5 different people to pick the infant because I'm like, I want to give them all the awards.
He did. I remember that.
It was just a struggle. You know, but we look for things that are unique. Like your daughter with the mechanic thing, it just fit with us and what we're about. And I mean, right off the bat, I knew what she was. And I'm like, that's awesome that she thought about that because most kids wouldn't even think about that. So I like things that are outside of the box. It's not the norm, you know, because that's really what puzzle's about. We're outside the box and not the norm.
Woody, I'm going to borrow your Sasquatch outfit and run out there.
There we go.
And yeah, I'm gonna win it with the Bigfoot and just come running through.
That's it.
That would definitely make us laugh.
You probably have to put somebody on your shoulder so that it wouldn't just be like falling over at the top.
Okay,
you're a little shorter than
you with the short jokes. Thank you.
I mean, that was like,
I appreciate it.
That would be like a shrunk up Sasquatch.
Right.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, the rest of the show is going to be run by Blake and Mike. No, I'm just playing. So tell us again. Now there's food trucks.
Yes, there's like 8 food trucks. Because you know I don't want anybody to be hungry. I want you to stay and have a good time and eat. So yeah, we have plenty of food trucks, 60 some vendors, from everything, pocketbooks to candles. It's just not about cars. It's about your whole family and your family coming and having fun. And it's difficult because there's so many events going on this weekend, and it always is. But like I said, where we stand out from the crowd is all getting in is free. It costs you nothing. You can go there and have fun and not have to pay anything. So that's where it's different.
Yeah. So what time is Puzzled event this weekend?
So it's 10 to 4.
Okay. And so there's 2 questions I ask every guest that comes on the podcast. And the first one is, how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
The last 4 years.
Okay. And what do you think is the greatest benefit of being a member of the CVABC?
It brings members together. It brings businesses together and lets you find out about other businesses. And there's lots of things that people don't even think about that Heather can help you with. Like she said, the stage. It came to a couple years ago, the Wednesday before the show, and the guy backed out on the stage, and Heather's like, I can fix that for you. And it didn't cost me anything. So there's lots of advantages that people would never know about unless you ask. So that's the biggest thing I say to anybody that's thinking about being a member or becoming a member. Go and talk to Heather. Go talk to Megan. There's lots of advantages that people don't even know about. I mean, the other day, I've been a member for 4 years, I think that it is now, and I found out about stuff I didn't know.
Right.
And we have this starting next year, we're going to be a sponsor because I found out about stuff that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know y'all did that. So I want to be a sponsor now. And we don't sponsor many things because really for us, it's about giving away. But I believe in what y'all do. So that's why we became a sponsor.
Right.
And I appreciate that. And I think that says a lot when you have, for me, like I have other nonprofits, and like when you look at the sponsors we have, they're all small business, all of them, from the top sponsor, down. We have maybe 1 or 2 that are what you might consider a larger company, like Centra or like, WSET or things like that. But most of them are small business, nonprofits. And it says a lot when they put their money with us and rely on us to do things to help them out.
Yeah.
We greatly
And we have 2 other guests today, and they are both sponsors.
They are.
So, and then Blake will be joining them next year.
And what I want to say about this too, people think that, I use sponsor money to give sponsors to sponsors. So the money that I gave to Heather was my money, mine and my wife's. I believe in it that much. I put up my money. I don't use the sponsor money that we have. I put up my own money because I believe in the things that y'all do and the things that you do for the community. I don't write that off. I just put it up because I believe in it. And that's how it should be.
And I think that's one of the reasons Puzzled is so impactful and does so much good in our community, because you believe in it so much that you're like, you know what, this will be good for Puzzled. Puzzled can't do this, but I can do it for Puzzled. Like, even though you are puzzled, right? It's you're really investing into beyond just your effort and your time and effort that goes into it. So
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So that's great.
Awesome. Well, Blake, thank you so much for coming.
No, thank y'all for having us.
If you've been listening, make sure you head out to the plaza this weekend on Saturday. We definitely encourage you, if you've got plans to go to some of the other, things around our area, do it all, man. Do it all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just making a day of it. I'm picking my daughter up from gymnastics, and we're going to just start festival hopping all over the place. So,
well, we'll be glad to have you. And like I said, anybody that come out having fun, stop and talk to me, and I can tell you more about the things we do. So thank y'all for having us on the show today.
Thank you so much. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
And Woody's back over there dancing. He loves the jingle.
It's my
does.
favorite.
So-
I saw the commercial the other night.
I told you would start seeing them.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I like that jingle.
Yeah.
I saw the commercial. I'm trying to figure out, Mike, why you don't have a
I know.
commercial.
Why
We
are
need-
you
we
not
need
into
a
Mike?
commercial with you in
Mike,
it.
we need to make
So I could
that
be like,
happen.
I know
So
that guy.
Yeah.
Those TV commercials they do nationally, and it's fantastic. And whenever somebody's like, "Oh, I saw your commercial on TV, that's why I called you," I'm like, "Yeah, I did those. Aren't they great?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm just kidding." I didn't. Like, it's part of the national
Great.
thing. But yeah, maybe we do need to do a commercial down the road.
That's right.
You should. You should.
Yeah.
So, I said this, we don't really have like a theme per se, but I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna say, our next guest that we're talking with, if you're coming into town for all these festivals,
Right.
if you're coming into town for football games, if you're coming into town for the holidays coming up,
Or you have family coming in.
or you have
and
family
you're like,
coming in,
I don't want you to stay with me.
that's what I would do. You definitely need to reach out to our next guest. We have Jennifer Adamsack here with us, and she is with the Hilton Garden Inn and the Homewood Suites.
Yes.
And so, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Now, what is your official role with the hotels?
I am the area director of sales.
Okay,
for both
perfect.
hotels.
I knew I was going to say it wrong, so I figured I'd just let you say it because I would have said like the manager, owner. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't have been owner, but yeah, I would have.
Definitely not that.
But I would have said it incorrectly. So I guess I just want to kind of start off for people to tell everyone like where the hotels are located, and then let's kind of jump into the hotels in general, and then kind of going into so we want to talk about event space too, because I utilize you guys quite a bit for that.
Yes, you do. And we appreciate that. So I have two hotels located right off Wards Road. So as soon as you get off 460 onto Wards Road, the hotels sit side by side. We are great location because we are surrounded by restaurants and shopping, and we're a mile from the airport and a mile from Liberty. So we've got a primo location. The Hilton Garden Inn is more of a full service hotel with what you would consider traditional hotel rooms that have mini fridge and a microwave. And we have a full service restaurant, meeting space, indoor pool. And then the Homewood Suites is an extended stay property. So that has 97 suites that range from a junior suite to one bedroom that have one or two beds in them. And they have fully equipped kitchens, a living space, and they're just like a little home away from home.
Mm-hmm. And I've been in them, and they're beautiful. I would, if I needed to just hang out for a week somewhere, that's where I would go.
Yeah.
Because they're really nice. And, I think a lot of people come to town and they don't have family and they need somewhere that kind of feels like a homey space. They're not just,
Right.
Yeah.
they need a bigger space. And you definitely get that feel when you're in there. And not just that, but like, speaking of like the Homewood Suite side of it, going in there and using like the breakfast has been, I've been there and had like the breakfast, and y'all would think I live at the Homewood Suite, but I don't. But
You could if
it's
you'd like.
yeah, but it's a really nice it's a really nice area. And I travel quite a bit for like gymnastics and things with my daughter, and one of the things that I always look at is like where we're staying, because you want to stay somewhere nice,
Right.
And that's one of the things people are always like, trying to figure out, where am I going to stay, like what are we looking. I can legitimately say from the perspective of someone who has stayed at these hotels, you're not going to find a nice. They're beautiful. You're not going to find a nicer one around.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
of course, we do the sponsor breakfast for the CVABC at the Hilton Garden Inn every year. And we were talking about that yesterday at the delegate meeting. And I was like, yeah. And the one thing I like is like the breakfast is good, right?
Yes.
Usually
they're
you
very
go
good.
somewhere for like a meeting like that. And the breakfast isn't always great when the hotel does it, but you guys do a great job. Your team, it's
The
food is
bacon
hot.
is
Right.
amazing. And
I
I
was
say
just
that
getting ready to say, I think everybody comes for the bacon.
yeah.
it is the bacon, man. I love the bacon.
But the food
So
is
good.
always hot and it's good and it's fresh and
Yeah.
you don't always get that for meeting spaces sometimes when you're, especially when it's like that's who you need to use for the space. But I think you're very fortunate that you've got a great space and a great team that does a great breakfast. So
Well, thank you.
because breakfast is the two most important meals of the day.
The two most important.
It is.
I like
It is.
that.
I
I
had-
agree. And the Homewood Suites does a breakfast buffet that is out every morning. It's
Ah.
complimentary. It's included in their rate.
I'll go try it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Swing on by. And they do an evening reception on Wednesdays that's also included in the rate, which is nice.
Yeah.
You've got free beverages and light hors d'oeuvres. And then the Hilton Garden Inn is cook to order breakfast. So you can come in and order what you would like there.
Wow.
And they do a great job there as well. And then we have a full service catering department at the Hilton Garden Inn. So anything that takes place in our meeting space, we do all of the food for that.
Right. And I go back to, and it's not even just the breakfast. You've done lunches for us.
Yeah.
You've done just like pastries and things that we've needed for just smaller events.
It's like hot dogs and things.
Yeah. So, with our organization, we've and we'll get more into event space later, but we've utilized both locations for business events, for more of networking style events, larger, corporate level events. So they can do something in all of those areas. It's not just, a one size fits all sort of thing. But before we get into events more so, I want to talk more about like the rooms and, the stays and things like that. Do you have like specials that go on at different times, or do you have like with this upcoming season, do you see more times that, should people be already looking at the holidays and booking? Do you book out pretty far out?
Oh, graduation, the hot topic always. So we do have time periods that are in a higher demand than others.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the football games, graduation, any type of large citywide conference that goes on that would sell out all the hotels. You need to try to book those time periods as far out as possible. Typically, most hotels won't open up their inventory. They can't usually, I know with us, until about 11 months out. And
okay.
So yeah, definitely book in advance. Hilton is fabulous because we have a very lenient cancellation policy. Unless you are booking a specific non-refundable rate or something that has a minimum stay requirement, our cancellation policy is 24 hours prior to arrival.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't get much more generous than that. And so my answer is always book. And if you change your mind, most people know by 5 o'clock the day before whether or not they're going.
Right.
So just go ahead and book it. And the Hilton Garden Inn has 126 rooms. So we're one of the larger hotels in town. And then the Homewood Suites has 97. So we've got, a pretty good mix of options to take care of people.
Yeah. I, last year, talking about people coming to your house, like you don't want people at your house. Last year for my daughter, we did a late birthday because her birthday is December 31st. So, of course, it's really hard to do anything for her birthday. It's New Year's Eve.
Right.
One day she'll figure out it's the biggest party day of the year, and I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
You'll be doomed.
But yes, but for right now, it's difficult to do anything. So we actually ended up waiting out a couple of months after her birthday, and I put together this big thing, and I was like, we're going to take some of her friends out. We went to a concert in Roanoke, and then I said, well, I don't want to bring all these girls back to my house and, have to deal with them. So I actually called Jennifer and ended up renting a hotel room, and we did like a fun day for the girls where we went and did the concert. We went out to dinner, and then they got to come back and actually stay at a hotel, and it was kind of really fun for them to kind of feel like we were on this just like staycation sort of type deal. And we came back, and I tried to make sure they didn't jump on the beds too much. I said, this is not your home. We can't do that. But they really enjoyed it because then the next morning we got up and the breakfast was fabulous. It's not just your normal, like you don't just go down there and there's cereal and apples and oranges. Like
a lonely waffle machine.
No,
slowly dropping waffles.
It's a hot breakfast.
Yeah.
It's got a variety of components.
Yeah,
they were really excited about that because they got to, eat something really good in the morning for breakfast. And the only thing they were bummed about was we didn't get back from the concert in enough time to get in the pool, but that was okay. I told them we'd have to do that another time. But
it's the only reason kids want to stay in a hotel.
Yeah. Right. But it was really neat to be able to do that. So, I mean, I even want to throw that out there, like just to tell people, like there are options like that. If you just need a staycation, you just need to get out of your house. You want to go somewhere.
Tell people you're going out of town and then just go across town.
Yeah.
You don't spend all that time in the car.
Yeah.
You're not having to miss.
We do have people that come and stay with us that are, maybe it's their anniversary and they just want to get away from the kids or be somewhere different, but they can't take a full trip. Or definitely with family coming into town, sometimes it's just easier for people to stay in a hotel and they've got plenty of rooms and a nice bed. You don't have to worry about breakfast. And they can get up whenever they'd like.
They can walk a couple doors down, go to Chick-fil-A.
And I also like to remind people too, we get people who stay with us sometimes for less than fabulous reasons, power outages or internet outages, or your neighborhood has a water problem. We also have people that come and stay with us while those things are being taken care of in their neighborhoods, so that they've got a nice place to stay. And it just kind of makes life a little bit easier when you've got running water and electricity.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And air conditioning.
Yeah.
Air conditioning, my most favorite thing.
Yes.
And another thing I will mention, if you're, a business and you have corporate events, or like I have where I do I have a women's conference. I do events where I'm bringing people from out of town to speak, or to come in and even if they're just coming to the event necessarily. But if you've got kind of like a more higher profile person you're bringing into town, and you want, you need to put them up somewhere, because usually you're liable for their stay and their food and things like that. We have had the, wonderful opportunity for the last couple of years to have them stay at either the Hilton Garden Inn or the Homewood Suites. And, every single one of them has talked about how nice the stay was, how wonderful they were treated. They loved the location. We had someone come in, not this past year, but last year, and she was able to meet us. I always take them out to dinner the night before the event, and she came across the street to O'Charlie's. Rest in peace to O'Charlie's, because they're not there anymore. But she came and was like, they were able to come across the street. But it was just like the ease of getting to those things without being in a city they don't know,
right?
Was really nice. And so, that's also another option I want people to think about. If you're bringing someone to the area and you want to make sure they're treated right,
we will take good care.
Definitely want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's chat a little bit about event space. Because again, holidays are coming up. People are looking for spaces to host Christmas parties, or, maybe you want to come have Thanksgiving lunch and do it at the hotel, and you don't want to cook for people, and maybe y'all have some options. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about the event space in both locations.
Absolutely. So the Homewood Suites has one meeting room that is a little over 1,000 square feet. It is a beautiful space that has a wall of windows that looks out onto a patio with a fire pit and grills. That space, depending on how you're setting it up, we can get about 40 people in there. And you are allowed to bring in your own food and beverage into that space. So we do not have a full service catering. We can do some light catering like coffee, sodas, danishes, but anything more substantial, you can bring that in on your own. And we get a lot of requests for that space for things like baby showers, birthday parties, that type of thing. But we also get a good amount of business meetings in there as well. People who need a space, but they are maybe on a budget and would prefer to handle the catering piece of it on their own. Then the Hilton Garden Inn has over 3,000 square feet of meeting space. We have 2 small conference rooms and then a ballroom that can be divided up into various sections, up to 3 different sections. And that space is great. We've done a lot of coffee talks in there. That's where we're going to do the sponsor breakfast. And that space can do 150 people, 160 people with a DJ and a dance floor for like a wedding reception or a party. We can get maybe 200 in there just seated for a meal without any entertainment factor to it. And that is great when you want something that is full service. So we handle all the food, we handle all the audio visual, we do all the setup, tear down, clean up, all of that. And we stay pretty busy. I do think sometimes people, because Lynchburg has a lot of great venues, various spaces that people can rent, and there's a lot of neat space in this area. However, I think people don't always realize how much work goes into some of that.
Right.
And so just because something might seem less expensive on the front end, where are your tables and your chairs and your linens? Who's setting it up? Who's tearing it down? Who's carrying the trash out? Where are you going to put the food? Who's going to clean all that up? There's a lot of work that goes into setting up an event and tearing it down, as you all know. And so that's the beauty of the Hilton Garden Inn, is it really is one-stop shopping. The objective is we take the work out of it so that you can show up and have a good time. And it's meetings, it's showers, it's birthday parties, it's wedding receptions. I had somebody that utilized our space the other day. They needed to do budgeting for next year. And she's like, I just need to get out of my office. Like, we can't focus. We're too distracted. I need a place where we can go and just really, no phones, sit down and hammer this out. And they came, we got some coffee for them, and they sat in there and worked themselves to death getting their project done. So
I may have to come sit in your office.
come on down. We'd love to have you.
I'm telling you, I was trying to get work done the day before yesterday, Megan, and I bet you I had no less than like 4 people walk in a row. And I was just like, I walked in and I was like, just want to put my head on the table sometimes because it's like,
It is hard to
You know.
focus in the office sometimes.
Yeah.
So we do provide a space. And so think about like board retreats or, if you just need to have a staff meeting, sometimes it's a really nice treat to get out of the office and be taken somewhere else where you really aren't being bothered by, the normal operation of your business. So yeah,
absolutely.
we got all kinds of space.
So what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you if they are interested in the event space?
Sure. So my office is actually located in the Hilton Garden Inn, along with my coworker, David, our sales manager. But we work equally for both hotels. But that's just where we're located. So you can call the hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn, or the Homewood Suites, and they can direct you to me. Or you can call me directly, 434-485-8350. And I will be happy to chat with you about what your needs are and what we've got available and how we can help you out. And one big thing we do for all CVABC members, if you identify that you are a member of the organization when you call, we do give you discounts on your meeting space and the audiovisual equipment. And that's very important to remind people of that, because if you don't tell me, I don't always know that.
Right.
But if you identify yourself.
You haven't memorized all like 550 some members?
Coming soon.
Close. I'm very close.
Yeah.
Coming soon. We are going to have something new for that.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about it at the delegate meeting yesterday.
We did.
Yeah. So we're gonna be having a member-to-member deal section and a card that our members can carry. That helps with that. So it's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
And now swapping over to the stay side of the hotel, like if someone wants to just book a room, how do they go about doing that?
So if you're just calling to book a couple of rooms, you would just call the hotel directly and the front desk associate can make your reservations for you. If you want to book a group room block, then you would also reach out to myself or David, and we will then start the contracting process. That works a little bit differently. And then we also offer a third option, which are called corporate negotiated rates. And that is for any business that has a lot of people traveling to the area on a regular basis. So think in terms of maybe 40 room nights or more a year. If your company has people coming regularly, then we can set up a special rate program for you at one of the hotels. It just kind of depends on what suits your needs. We talk through that. And then that is your rate, for a calendar year.
That way it makes it easier to budget for the year.
It does.
If you're going to be using a lot of hotels, it's like, here's your rate. This is what it's going to be.
Yes. And I encourage people. I'm always interested by businesses that do a lot of hotel travel and they don't set up negotiated rates. They're paying entirely too much money.
Right.
They really are. And there is a way to simplify that process. And we are able to provide them with a link that they just send out to their employees. They click on it. I've got people that they like to do it directly, and we keep their card on file. We make the reservations for them. It just depends on really what works for them. But that's another great way for them to.
Yeah.
So you really try to make it a lot easier when there's a lot of hotel stays and things, just to, like you said, simplify the process.
That is the objective.
So
we try to be an easy place to do business with.
Awesome.
So one thing I want to pull out really quickly before Mike asks his questions is I do want to point out, I know we talk a lot about on the show about supporting local, buying local, all those things. And I think there may be some of you going, well, it's the Hilton. How is that local? And I just want to say, from a perspective of somebody who works with Jennifer, is that yes, maybe the Hilton name is, you think about that, it is. You will not find a greater group. And, Jennifer was talking about David, Rocky. I mean, her team, they're here, they're local, they're supporting our area. They are amazing. They are not the ones where you're going to call and you're going to get the operator that's throwing you to 5 other operators, and then you're talking
You
to
don't have a
someone
call center in
like
Iowa.
wherever you are. If they're very good about getting back with you and letting you speak to somebody here. And so I just want to throw that out there because I think that's important.
And I would like to clarify something that I don't think everybody understands probably how the hotel business works, but our hotels are franchised.
Right.
Hilton is a huge worldwide organization, but our hotels are franchise properties, and every hotel in Lynchburg is franchise property,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Yes, I think everyone is. And so though that's our properties are separate LLCs, so they are considered small businesses because of the number of people that we employ.
Right.
They are small, and we employ all local people. So these people live and work in your community. These are your neighbors. And we provide a really viable workspace for people. I mean, we employ all walks of life and all educational, socioeconomic backgrounds. And that's what I love about the hospitality industry. It's a very forgiving industry to work in. We have a lot of people who have started over or need a new career or a change of pace, and they come to our industry, and I think it's a great place to work. I mean, I've been in the hotel business for 25 years, hospitality for over 30, and I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, it's a great space to be in.
Yeah, and on the same thing with franchises, like Visiting Angels is a franchise. There's 800, almost 800 offices around the world. We don't own all those. We own the one in Lynchburg, right? It's run by the Northfield family. I grew up here. We live here, right? So it's, even though it's a big national brand, like even some of our McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, things like that, their franchise business, Jersey Mike's. There's quite a few. You notice I know all the food ones.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Right.
They're all little local businesses. They're trading on a national level, national name. So,
Exactly.
So small business is not always what you think it is. So that was a very good point.
That is, and I appreciate Heather bringing that up, because I think there is a misconception, and sometimes people wonder, like, well, why are these hotels part of, something focused on small business?
Right.
We're just a small business, and we're fighting for our space in the market as well, and we do try very hard to support other local small businesses. And if it's not by an outright purchase, again, we try to offer, a financially feasible way for them to do business with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
So I personally have been involved for about 6.5 years. As soon as I moved here, the hotel was an existing member. So I'm not 100% sure how far back that membership goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Several
Long
years. I mean, back when it was the Retail Merchants Association. So I've been involved for 6.5 years.
And what do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the CVABC?
Well, besides spending time with the two of you,
I'm glad you said both
like
of us.
it. See, there we
this
go.
is a highlight.
Now you're not offended.
I genuinely treasure the relationships that I have made within this organization. I moved here from out of state and really was starting over with my family and just, trying to get my foothold in a community that I was new to. And the people in this organization really reached out and made me feel very, very welcome. One of the first events I attended was a CVABC event. And those friendships have lasted and sustained. And to reiterate, previous guest comments, there are resources here. If you need something, there is help. And we refer a lot of people to each other to try to help you out with whatever your challenges may be. And I believe enough in the organization that we are sponsors. Both hotels are sponsors. I also am a delegate, so I volunteer along with Mike, and have joined the board. So I think it's a fantastic organization.
Yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about it, and I see the organization growing, developing, including more people, offering, real benefit and real value to small business people.
Yeah, it's helped our small business grow quite a bit. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you, Jennifer, so much.
Thank you
for coming on today.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Make sure, if you're listening in, you need somewhere to stay. You need to, put your in-laws up somewhere. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. Whatever you need, you contact Jennifer.
Yes, the
She can help you
or
out.
the outlaws.
The
Take
in-laws
it
and the
back.
outlaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked with Jennifer a little while ago, and she was saying like when power's out and things like that. And I said how important air conditioning is. That wasn't on accident because we also have today with us Brenden from Freedom Heating and Air. So I had to give you a little point in your direction there for that. But
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Freedom.
Yeah, we just jumped right into you. There was no segue. It was like,
ready
boom.
for that.
Yeah, we're just going right into it.
I
Put you
mean,
on the
we're a
spot.
veteran-owned business. I started about 2.5 years ago now, and now we've started as solely heating and air, and we brought on electrical back in May, and we actually just recently brought on plumbing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now
Very
we're a
nice.
full-fledged 3-trade business now. So now we've been working a lot on providing a whole home service for customers of ours and rebranding how that is. So we just started a new one called Freedom Home Guard and then Free Home Guard for Heroes. So like we've done before where we always had that hero membership.
Yeah.
That was half off for anyone that's a local hero as far as working for public servants or anyone in the CVABC gets it also. But so we've been working a lot on that, but also on top of it, I've been very, very busy with this North Carolina stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to kind of to chat with you about
Yeah.
today on top of what Freedom's doing. So just to kind of start off, you guys have grown so much since I even met you, a couple years ago. And it's been awesome to see like the growth of Freedom in heating, air, and electrical now, and plumbing, and all the things. But I think too, for those of you who don't know Brenden, which may be a lot of you who are listening in today, he's very dedicated to the community. And I think that says a lot about his company as well, is, his dedication to, not just being a business owner and, having this big company and, getting his name out there. He truly is dedicated to the community too. And with the 2 hurricanes that have come pretty much back to back in the last couple of weeks, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, you guys jumped in right away to help out. And so, tell us a little bit about what you guys have seen and like what are the needs that you guys know we still have.
We went down there. What was it? Last Wednesday? I told you, Heather.
Yeah,
Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. Yeah, because you were going to be on the podcast and we had to move it because you were going down. Yeah.
So we drove down last Wednesday, and first stop, of course, we stopped in Asheville briefly, and then we drove up into the mountains because we asked where we needed to be the most. Because I didn't want to give it to a warehouse. I wanted to hand it to locals hand in hand the whole time. So we went up to Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and that's where we met a guy that's a business owner of a barbecue restaurant there. So we dropped off a lot to him. So now I've been talking to him. And luckily, I guess our post got out there because I'm seeing a lot of other local people are like, hey, we're going to go to the same place now.
Mm-hmm.
But he told me now that there's a lot going on the other side of the mountain where the only access is from the Tennessee side.
Okay.
Because we plan to go back down again as soon as we can get more donations built up again and go with side-by-sides and four-wheelers and stuff. And that way we can get the access to the roads that are all blocked off. Because when you drive up to Spruce Pine, the only road you're driving on is the main road. Every road off the sides is completely washed out.
Wow.
I saw houses where people literally couldn't get to their house. They had to park near the road, and they had built these plywood little plank walkways across the river to their house. Seeing cars, I saw a car in a tree. I saw cars all the way up and down the road. And my business partner, Tom, he got to experience something that I wish nobody ever gets to experience. And I really don't want to talk about that part. But being a veteran and seeing everything that's going on, it bothers me a lot of what's happening. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm glad that you guys are able to get supplies and get down there. If somebody wanted to donate supplies, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
You can give us a call at 434-339-0001. And you can talk to our office staff. She can give you the address to come drop off anything. We also have a Amazon wish list pulled up.
Oh, that's great.
And then also we have our Venmo. So you can always donate, and we're actually matching whatever we raise. So we've already matched $4,500.
Wow.
From the first trip, which went down with a lot of heaters and propane and stuff like that. We pretty much wiped Sportsman's out.
Yeah.
Anything that they had for heating sources. Yeah. But Sportsman jumped right in and helped us out with that. They saw us. They looked at us at first a little weird, like, what are you doing? You're just shuffling stuff into a bunch of carts. But they jumped in and said, all right, here, we'll go in the back. We'll grab this. We'll bring this up. So, I mean, anything that's heating related, anything to keep someone warm is kind of the biggest thing right now. Winter jackets.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What's the biggest challenge of?
Because I know you said water wasn't really, people have water. It's things that you wouldn't really think about.
Yeah, because everyone thinks, oh, let's donate water. They have plenty of water bottles now.
Okay.
Everywhere we drove, it was just stacks
yeah.
and stacks.
Because it's the first thing people donate because it's
Correct.
easy and it's like you have to have it. Like there's no option. So I imagine like socks, coats, different things like that.
Sleeping bags. Anything that's a heat source. So those little propane heaters, something. Even firewood. Firewood's fine. A lot of the people in the mountains are self-sufficient. They know how to light a fire.
Right.
So a lot of that would be helpful. MREs, like going to Sportsman's and find all the MREs they might have and grab a bunch of those. They're truthfully, in my mind, pretty inexpensive. They were like $5.99 a bag,
which isn't bad for a whole meal.
Yeah,
right.
I think we got like 300 of them and spent. And of course, Sportsman's, like I said, helped out, and we got like 300 MREs at the time. And I think when we spent like $356.
Okay.
Wow. That's amazing.
Like, oh my gosh. How do I get through the money I'm supposed to match here?
Right.
Well, and you got to think the weather's changed all of a sudden so quickly too.
Right. So it's gotten cold all of a sudden.
Yeah. If they're displaced from their homes or things like that. So definitely the things that can keep you warm, I would think would be a big deal. I saw somewhere it had even was snowing the other day, or it had even flurried somewhere in North Carolina and also in Tennessee. So, it's coming. And this is something too, like, people got to realize this is long term. Like,
right, because complete roadways have been washed out. Like access to places is
homes are not going to be built tomorrow, and it's just like, let me just go back into my home. So these are things that you can support that are going to help. For longer than just next week or the week after. So this isn't something that just do tomorrow and be like, oh well, I did, and that's it, and I'm gonna go about my day. Now I know you guys have where people can drop off. Is it at your office?
Yes.
Okay.
At our office at 1051 Duke Lane, Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay.
And anyone that's local in Bedford as well, because I live out here in Bedford.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to meet with people and just throw stuff in the back of my truck when I drive to the office some mornings.
And we've also mentioned that if you want to drop it off at our office in Forest, 14805 Forest Road, Suite 107, we will get all of that to Brennan. We will let them know, like, hey, we have stuff here so that people can drop it off. We are also doing next Friday, we are partnering with Carillion. We're doing a blood drive. And part of that too, we're going to have a tent up where we're asking people to bring those donations to that as well. So we'll have a tent there and people can make donations that we will get to Freedom.
Yeah, and also the Visiting Angels office. So if you're on the side of town where the Lynchburg General Hospital is, 2201 Langhorne Road, we're right there, right next to Horizon Behavioral Health. You can drop things off there, and we'll get it to the CVABC office so that we can get it to them, or we'll take it straight to Freedom. Just depends on what comes in. So
yeah. And another thing I heard people saying that would be a good, donation closer, but even like things like coloring books and stuff for the kids, because there's so many kids that are just, as a parent, you're worrying enough as it is, and you're trying to keep that stress and anxiety from your kids because they, then they pick up on it and then it just becomes a lot. So, having things that as a parent, you can maybe potentially take their mind off of, different things, coloring books, just regular books, things that they can do, puzzles. Those are good options as well. I saw somebody posting so that they can give those out. And, and to be quite honest, I can't even think about, you've got the holidays coming up and I know a lot of people aren't thinking about that, but people lost everything. It's going to be tough for months. So those are just some thoughts too, just to kind of keep in the back of your mind in the next month or two when you're out shopping for yourself. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying think of others too. Like, but, speaking of the cold as well, I want to kind of chat with you a little bit about, Freedom as, right now, I'm sure people are, if they haven't yet, they're close to turning on that heat.
I'm nowhere close.
Because if you're,
it's on at work. It's on at work, but it's not on at home.
Yeah. And if, if you haven't cut it on, well, I mean, hopefully you've been using your AC, but is there a difference? Like if you're using AC and then you cut over to heat, that uses some kind of different.
Yeah,
I know nothing about HVAC.
Like a reversing valve is what it is.
Okay.
So it switches the flow of refrigerant.
So just because your AC works doesn't necessarily mean your heat's going to work, right? If you haven't been maintaining it or there may be issues. Okay.
And also if you're like me, and so we have air conditioning, but then we have gas heat. So you want to make sure that everything's working and clean and safe, and you don't want to blow your house up. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
So so it just depends on what your heating system is toward, if you've got the heat pump that does both, then, you want to get that checked out and get on one of those maintenance plans like you guys have, and make sure that everything's safe and that it's going to work, because that happened to me. We switched over to air conditioning at the beginning of this year, and capacitor went bad and the air wouldn't come on.
I've decided I'm never going out of town again, because every time I go out of town, something breaks.
Yeah.
I'm getting a text from Heather.
He does.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is working. So tell us, are there any like tips or tricks or anything like starting out going into the winter that you guys, kind
Keep
of
up with your filters.
That's what I was going to say.
Keep up with your filters. That's always the number one thing.
I'm horrible.
I changed mine yesterday because I knew you were coming on here. I was like, if you ask, I want
So we'll
to
have Brenden on once. What do you have to change it every month?
Yeah, I actually have it on my Google Calendar for work and home. It says change the air filters, and then every 2 or 3 months I do it. But it's on my calendar every month.
So I need to at least schedule Brenden on the show every couple months so we can get you to change your filter.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Filters, but I would definitely recommend at least getting someone out to take a look at it, whether it's us or someone else. But get a professional out there, look over everything,
and there's a lot
make sure it's good to go. Because I see it all the time on Facebook when we get into December.
Right.
My electric bill is way too high, and the first to blame is AEP. Trust me, AEP, yes, the rates are going up, but it has a lot to do with your HVAC system. If it is dirty and it does not run efficient, your electric heat runs.
Okay.
And that drives your electric bill cost up.
Right.
I know we all want to find someone to blame, but we got to sometimes blame ourselves.
Right.
I like it.
And it's such a small thing to change. Like, it takes 30 seconds, right? It's right outside my kitchen for me. So there is one in the ceiling upstairs. I can't do that. I have to have my 6.5 foot tall son do it. So
who's short now?
Yeah, who's short now?
Yeah, let's throw that one out
I've
there.
been short my whole life. But yeah, so it's not something that takes a lot of time. The filters, I mean, yeah, they cost money, but they're not ridiculously expensive.
Right.
Especially when you compare it to how much, if your system runs efficiently, how much you'll save on the electric bill. You're definitely paying for that filter. You know what I mean? So, and then like you were saying about maintenance plans, and it and you kind of touched on this a little bit. It really doesn't matter what company you work with. Like, having someone come out and looking at getting on a maintenance plan is important.
Yep.
And not all maintenance plans are the same. So and I like where you have it's first responders,
teachers, nurses, military, police, anybody in the CVABC. It's the Freedom Home Guard for Heroes.
Right. And there's a discount on that plan. So if you don't have a company that does it now, then the obvious choice is to call Freedom and make a donation and get that. So have you shared your Amazon wish list on your Facebook page?
I believe so.
Okay. So we'll have to get that link and share it on the Talk Local to Me so that people can donate that way as well. Because sometimes it's a little easier for people to just go, hey, and we might have people that listen to this podcast that aren't necessarily local to our area, but want to help, and they can go on Amazon, click a button, and,
Yep. Yeah, I think we did share it on Facebook.
Okay.
Let me ask a question about cleaning filters. But right now, like with the fall, and you see all the leaves like coming down all over the place. Like, I noticed that I'll get like a lot of leaves falling on the top of my HVAC, and like they go down. And again, I know nothing about HVAC, so they go down in the thing that spins around.
Just go out there and wrap it, saran wrap. That won't happen.
You can't do that. I was serious. I was getting ready to look at you and be like, really?
That was a joke.
So like,
totally a joke.
But is that something that you should look at too? Like will the leaves, like, will that cause issues? Like, should that be, is that part of the maintenance?
So the bottom of that outdoor condenser, there's holes for drains.
Yeah.
So your system in the winter goes through a defrost cycle, so it naturally freezes up outside on the outdoor unit.
Okay.
And it'll go through what they call defrost, so it melts the ice, which then it goes into the bottom of your unit and comes out of those little holes. Now, if the leaves are blocking it all up and dirt and all that stuff gets and plugs it up, the water builds up, and then you get a nasty freeze, and it freezes around your compressor, your other components, and all that stuff,
and pop.
And your coil, and sometimes it cause problems.
Right.
Okay.
So the maintenance helps keep the bottom of that unit clear. And hopefully it just continues to drain it the way it's supposed to.
And it's frowned upon to just throw like a plywood board over top of it, right?
Yeah. Yes. Big time.
Do not do that.
Big time.
I don't have one.
I mean, unless you really want to call me.
I mean, you could build like...
I'm not going to lie. Maybe one time a long time ago I had one on there, but then we don't have that on there anymore.
Okay.
I think we just did it one day for like a certain reason, and we took it back off.
That will turn into a very expensive fix.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there for people who may or may not do
Don't
that.
put plywood
Don't
or
put
saran wrap on
saran wrap.
outdoor units.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah.
Jennifer's just dying over here. I love how she's trying to be so quiet so that we won't hear her on the microphone. But
this is too much.
Yeah.
And then really, really quickly, I do want to touch this really fast on the plumbing part you've added, because I know that's one of the biggest questions like people like I see on recommendation pages or people asking is plumbing. I mean, people need plumbers, and we've had a lack of, I'm not saying a lack of good plumbers. I'm just saying like there's not very many plumbers in our area, and they're so backed up because you have one or two.
that was
Dun,
great.
dun, dun. But they're so backed up that you can't get somebody to come for weeks at a time.
Yeah, we're really glad you took the plunge and added plumbing.
Yes.
So that way people won't be so backed up. So yeah, but it's hard to find a plumber because there's not a lot of availability because a lot of people have issues, and a lot of people wait until it's a
lot of
big
people
issue.
have issues.
Yes.
So yeah,
Fully backed up.
yeah, fully backed up.
I had to drink some water because I'm like choking on. I'm over here. But so yeah, that when did y'all just recently added that in the last like month or two?
Last month we added it.
Okay.
I mean, technically I've had it the whole time, but I was the only plumber,
Yeah.
and that was hard to do.
Okay.
So we just really didn't unveil it until last month when I found guys that would like to run a plumbing department for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's hard when you're the business owner to do the work of the business. So, yeah. I found that out really quick. So it only took me 8 years, but no, just kidding. No, but it's having a good team behind you so that you can provide that, and it's one thing to be like, I know how to do this as the owner when you run into an issue, but to advertise it and be like, hey, we're plumbing, you don't want to do it until you can do it right.
Yes.
Right.
And that was the biggest thing is because like you said, it's hard to find them. And the moment you advertise it, it's
Right.
pretty much there.
If you don't get it right, you're in big trouble. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Word
So-
spreads fast.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, but that's good. So,
Yeah. So if you're in need of some of home services, because basically you're covering a bunch of home services over there with the HVAC, the electric, the plumbing, you do duct cleaning
Yeah.
and
Generators.
And I'm going to throw out with the duct cleaning real quick because I say this every time somebody says they do duct cleaning, and I have to say it. There are people that do duct cleaning, people. I mean,
they actually exist.
They actually exist. They're not always scams. I've seen people that ask for duct cleaning, and people will say I do it, and they're like, no, they're scammers. There are legit companies out there. So, do your research. Because
go to CVABC.org and look them up in the directory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are genuine businesses.
Yeah. So there are some legit duct cleaning companies, and you should have them looked at, and get somebody that is responsible, licensed, insured. I say this all the time. Do not have your brother Bob come out and just do it for you because it's going to be cheaper, because I can promise you it's going to be more trouble than it's worth if something happens. So I always like to throw that out there when we're talking to anyone who provides home services. Just so that you kind of watch your back.
Yeah. Uncle Bob will cost you a lot of money.
Uncle Bob. Yes. So, Brennan, how can someone get a hold of you if they are looking for your services?
You can call by the phone. You can actually go online and book as well through Google. But if you call by phone at 434-339-0001, you can even actually go to our website as well, which is freedomheatingandairva.com. And you can actually book through there, and you can even chat with us live on that too.
Awesome.
So how long have you guys been a part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Now a year?
I think it's over a year.
So you've been a sponsor for a year, but you've been a member before that. I mean, I would say year and a half, 2
almost
years.
We're going to
almost
round up
2
to
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Brendan has been, and I throw this out there, but Brendan has been one of our premier sponsors this year. So he's been on the show before, and there's a reason for that. We have had a lot of support from Freedom Heating, Air, and Electrical. And, we are greatly appreciative of that. But yeah, it's been a year, but 2 years, I think, as an actual member. You've been stuck with me for 2 years now. So I'm excited for that.
And the reason why I like the CVABC, Mike?
Yeah.
And so you're stealing all my thunder. It's the only thing I get to ask.
Well, at least maybe he'll say the same thing.
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding.
What do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the CVABC?
Mike.
Thank you. That's right.
No, truthfully, just the fact that I get to go out and, because I'm like Heather, I'd like to network a lot. I don't mind going and talking to a bunch of people and getting to know everybody else in the community. But that's been a great thing for me the last year and a half, 2 years, that I've been able to just go out and meet a lot of different new faces, and also give tips and tricks to them as well, and me learn some things from them.
Especially when we live in an area. I know everybody says, oh, Lynchburg's a different kind of market. And it kind of is, but also it isn't. But also word of mouth is big in Lynchburg. People don't want to trust an advertisement on TV. They want to talk to somebody who's had experience with it. So the word of mouth is great. And the more people you know, the more people that can talk about you.
Yeah, you say that. And I had I'm in a business coaching group, and one of the guys in my group came to visit from California. And that's one thing he said. He spends a bunch of money on Google, and he's like, dude, this is crazy. All the word
Yeah.
of mouth and this and that. I was telling him about all along, but because he got to see it firsthand, he's like, this is what real America looks like.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and like Jennifer said earlier, you were talking about resources, and being a part of the CVABC isn't always about the resources that I can provide you, that the CVABC can provide you. I get so much joy out of seeing the resources that our members provide each other. It's a lot of times, it's not always something that I necessarily can do, but they can, work together and put their heads together and come up with different things or avenues to help each other out.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the other biggest part, is that you have this community of business owners that not everybody knows everything, but everyone together knows a lot.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I attribute to that part too, like the resource. It's not all me. I would love to take all the credit, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not the know-all.
No, yeah, and we have such a wide variety of people in the CVABC too, that they pretty much anything you can think of business-wise, or retail-wise, service-wise, anything. There's somebody in there that does it.
Yep. So for the second week in a row, we have just been overextending our welcome here at Woody's at Grove Street FM, because we've gone over our hour.
So the ABC is always welcome.
But
the
what
the secret is that he's like, oh, I owe you lunch for this, or I owe you lunch for that. When we're hungry, we talk longer.
That's right.
So
yeah, one day
if you want to fix it, Woody,
there will be some lunch.
I'll have some food waiting on the table for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woody's like, I have to leave at 1 o'clock today. Here's a sandwich.
But I love it because we have so many businesses and so much great information to talk about that you can't always fit it into
can't put us in a box.
minutes. Yeah, you can't put Heather and Mike in a box.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
That's right. So
I carried a watermelon.
Anyway, we are so happy that you've stuck with us for this long, if you have today. Yeah. And if you have any questions, if you've heard something today you want to find out more about, if you need information about the Puzzled event coming up, if you need information about, where you can go to donate for Freedom Heating and Air, or if you need to book a room or an extended stay or an event, you can reach out to Jennifer and you can get their information at
CVABC.org. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.